Hello children, welcome to science class. Children, now we'll discuss about chapter 7, that is things around us. In this chapter, we'll discuss about the characteristics of living things, the difference between living and non-living things. Okay. So first of all, we see the characteristics of living things. Here one box is given. Shortly we discuss first. Characteristics means here 8 characteristics are given. Nutrition, respiration, growth, excretion, reproduction, movement, response to stimuli and cellular organization. So one by one we will discuss. Some of these characteristics can be found in some non-living things, but not in all. Okay? All these characteristics are never found together in non-living things. So first of all, we discuss about nutrition. Means eating and feeding. All living things need food. Plants make their own food through the process of photosynthesis. But animals get it from plants or other animals. Food gives energy to the organisms so that the process of life can be on inside them. Then next characteristics is respiration. Respiration is a process in which energy is released from food. The released energy is used for carrying out life processes such as growth and movement. Respiration takes place in the bodies of both plants and animals. It is a chemical reaction in which food reacts with oxygen to release energy. Carbon dioxide and water are also produced. Here one reaction is given, food plus oxygen. If food is associated with oxygen, then the product will be carbon dioxide, water and energy. Okay. Respiration should not be confused with breathing. Okay. Children, you not confused between respiration and breathing. Breathing is the process of air moving in and out of the body. Okay. Breathing is a part of respiration. Okay. It involves exchange of gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. The process of breathing in human is similar to that in animals like cows, buffaloes, dog and cats. But some animals have different mechanism for the exchange of gases. For example, earthworms breathe through their skin, fish through their gills. Okay, in plants, exchange of gases takes place through pores, means stomata present in their leaves. The next one is growth. All living things show growth. Growth is an increase in the size of an organism. We can understand this definition of growth by taking into account following examples. A baby grows into a child into a boy or a girl, and a boy or a girl into a man or woman. A seedling grows into a tree. A chicken grows into a cock or a hen. Can we observe the process of growth from a baby to an adult or a seedling into a tree. Growth in living things is irreversible, okay, and permanent. Means we cannot comes to a old man to a baby, okay. So it is not irreversible. It is the internal as it takes place by the addition of new body material. Non-living things generally do not grow. If growth occurs, it is due to accumulation of the material they are made of. It is reversible and external. Okay. So children, you remember growth in living beings is irreversible and internal. But growth in non-living cases, it is reversible and external. For example, formation of crystals of ice, sugar and salt is simply the accumulation of the materials they are made of. Then excretion. When food and oxygen are used in the body, waste products are produced. These are poisonous, and if they remain inside our body, they can kill the organism. To prevent this from happening, the body has a way of getting rid of its harmful waste. The process of getting rid of waste by the living organism is called excretion. So like nutrition, excretion also very important. Then excretion is a characteristic feature found in all living things, both plants and animals. In case of animals, wastes are excreted in the form of urine, feces, sweat and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide gas is the byproduct released in the process of respiration. Already we see that reaction. Then in plants. In plant cases, carbon dioxide and water vapor are excreted through small pores, that is stomata, present in the leaves. In some plants, waste products take the form of secretions. The secretions may be in the form of a sticky substance called gum or a thick fluid called latex. This fluid can be seen if you break the twig of a rubber plant or a murder plant. So, in plant cases, that gum, latex are the waste material. Okay. In some plants, the waste products are stored within the plant body. These waste products are not harmful to the plant body. Then, reproduction. All living things have the ability to produce more or their own kind. The ability to produce young ones of their kind is called reproduction. So what is the importance of reproduction? So importance of reproduction is, it is very necessary for living things to survive generation after generation. Okay. The mode of reproduction varies in different animals. Some animals produce their young ones through eggs, as you find in birds. Many birds lay their eggs in the nest. The eggs, on hatching, produce young birds. Some animals give birth to young ones, as seen in cows, cats, and humans. So children, you know The animals which give eggs, they are known as oviparous, and the animals which give directly young ones, they are known as viviparous. Okay. Then movement. Living things show movement. Most animals move from one place to another and also show other body movements. Most plants do not move. They are fixed to the soil, but they show movements of certain parts such as leaves, stems, roots and flowers. In most plants, the stem moves towards light and the root grow downwards in the soil. The flower changes its position to face the sun in a sunflower plant. The leaves fold when touched in a touch-me-not plant. So these are some movement of plants. Then response to stimuli. So stimuli means what? It is the singular form of stimulus. Stimulus is the singular form and stimuli is the plural form. Okay. Changes in the surrounding of an organism which makes it respond to the changes are called stimuli. The organism reacts to the stimulus is called response. So understood what is stimuli and what is response? Here you see some examples. You move your foot if you suddenly step on a thorn or a sharp stone while walking barefoot. You shut your eyes when you move from a dark place into bright sunlight. When you see your favorite food, saliva forms in your mouth. If your hand touches a hot object, you withdraw your hand. So, these are some examples. Different stimuli are present. Okay, for example, a thorn or a sharp stone, bright sunlight, favorite food and hot object are stimuli. This stimuli makes us respond to the changes. How do we respond in the above cases? Okay. Either we immediately withdraw our foot, shut our eyes, start producing saliva or withdraw our hand depending upon the stimulus. Always response depends on stimulus. You remember. Okay. Do plants also respond to stimuli? The stem of a plant bends towards sunlight. Flowers in some plants close after sunset. In touch-me-not plant, the leaves close or fold on being touched. Bending of stem, closing of flower and folding of leaves are all examples of responses to stimuli like sunlight, sunset and touch. So clear about response and stimuli? Then cellular organization. All living things are made of cells. A cell is the smallest unit of all living things. Some living things are made of only a single cell like amoeba, yeast and bacteria. So living things consist of a single cell are called unicellular organism, and the organisms are made of millions of cells are known as multicellular organisms. Clear? For example, human being, housefly, dog, horse, etc. And plants are also in categories in multicellular organism. Then difference between living and non-living things. We know 8 characteristics are there in living things. So on the basis of that characteristics, we differentiate living and non-living things. First one is they require food, but here do not require food. Here respiration, so respiration, no respiration. Growth is present, it is internal and irreversible. But here in non-living case, no growth. Even if present, it is external and reversible. Excrete waste products not formed. Here reproduction is occurs, here no reproduction. So movements on their own, here no movement on their own. Response to stimuli is present, here absent. Cellular organisms are made up of cells, here no cells are found. Okay. Then features common between living and non-living things. First one is all things, whether living or non-living, possesses mass, shape and occupy space. Then second one is they are made up of basic structural units. In case of living things, cell is the structural unit. In a non-living things, the molecule is the structural unit. Then differences between plants and animals. You know, according to nutrition, locomotion and growth, plants are differentiated. Here, can prepare their own food. Here animals cannot make their own food, obtain food from plants or other animals. Here fixed locomotion, fixed to the soil, do not show free movement. Here show locomotion from one place to another. Growth localized to certain regions. Here in animal case diffused in all parts of the body. So children, this is about your chapter things around us, and you remember the 8 characteristics of living things and difference between plants and animals, living and non-living things. Okay, thank you.